Did Kishimoto ruin Tobi's identity and Obito's character? Today I'm going to be talking about Tobi's identity and Obito's character. A lot of the controversy that's been around it lately that Tobi's identity has been ruined, it was too simplistic, Obito's character development from when he was around as a child was ruined. They just don't like the way things have been turning out ever since chapter 599. For me personally, whenever I thought of Tobi's identity, for me, it was always very simple. It was, if I just thought about it randomly, it was like, okay, it's pretty obvious that it's Obito. When I wanted to have a little more fun, I would put a little more thought into it and think, oh, you know, it's the Sage of Six Paths, Sage of Six Paths' son, Sage of Six Paths' son's daughter's mother's cousin's nephew, you know? So when you put more thought into it, that's when it started to become like, oh yeah, you know, you're putting a lot of logic in it, you're putting a lot of thought and, you know, a lot of theories into it. But for me personally, I always looked at Tobi's identity as, it's simple, it just looks too much like Obito. And, you know, I made a couple theories back. For the most part, I always stuck with my theory. There was one time where I said maybe he's a part of the Uzumaki clan because of the whole thing after 599 when Madara said, oh, where's that brat Nagato? But the thing about it was, and soon after, it was revealed a little bit more about that as far as the DNA and whatnot. So for me, I, for the most part, always thought it's Obito. It's just, it gotta be Obito. That's that, you know, or the whole thing where it's more than one Tobi and there's been like a whole bunch of them. For the most part, if there was one Tobi, I always thought, okay, it's Obito. So for me personally, and a lot of people out there, they weren't let down by it. But I can understand for other people that they just had a lot of theories behind it and a lot of points to back it up. And, you know, I completely understand if you're let down by that, but at the end of the day, it's Kishimoto's story. You know, for me personally, I thought it was kind of interesting that while throughout the entire series, you thought Itachi was a bad guy, and then he turned out to a good guy. And for a chunk of the series, you thought Obito was a good guy, and then we find out later that he's Tobi. You know, there was misconceptions and some people thinking, okay, this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, and then later on Kishimoto would reveal it. So he had two Uchihas that he kind of converted what they really were. And, you know, there's actually a very good, solid theory out there that Kishimoto been planning this from chapter 16 onward, and I'll link it down there so you can check it out for yourself. But when I read it, it was pretty crazy. Of course, it could all be coincidences and just looking more deep into it, but I believe chapter 16 was called Who Are You? And the cover page of that was Kakashi holding half his face, like covering with his hand, and you see a picture of Obito in the background. And there was a lot of different hints and clues that the guy put, and it was really interesting, to be honest with you. I will link that in the description if you really want to look more into it and see, oh wow, was it really like pointed at Obito the whole time, because he brought some good points. But nonetheless, for me personally, I don't think that Tobi's identity was ruined, because, I mean, at the end of the day, Obito was always a choice. It was not like, you know, oh, it turned out that it was Naruto's descendant cousin that we never met. You know, that would be ridiculous. But there was always a possibility it was Obito. So I kind of understand, but at the same time, I don't. Why would people be this upset about the identity being Obito when it was always a possibility? And it kind of connects from the very beginning of, you know, even before Naruto, and it wraps the whole series together with the original and Shippuden. So I always looked at it like that. As far as Obito's character, I definitely say that it changes the way I think about him and the way I even felt about him, like feeling really bad for that kid that was crushed under the rocks, because, you know, I always admired him and said, you know, he knew what he was talking about. So in that aspect, yeah, it kind of soured me to the noble aspects of Obito, of who he was and what he stood for. So it sours me to that. But at the same time, the whole time we thought Itachi was a bad guy, and then you find out he's good, and it's like, takes away a lot of that mystery of, oh man, you know, Itachi was evil, he wanted to kill Sasuke. So of course your opinion is going to change on it, and it does sour me to the noble aspects of it, but I still enjoy the character and what happened, because it's obvious we didn't get the whole story yet of what happened between the time he was crushed by that rocks and now. We don't know really all the story. And I want to focus on one thing that a lot of people pointed out, but I want to be the voice for the people that aren't listening to what happened in chapter 600. Chapter 600, Kakashi says, if you've been alive all this time, why haven't you? And what he meant was, why haven't you showed up until now? Why all of a sudden you showing up, and what was this? And he said, it's because you let Rin die. He didn't mean, oh, I started all this war and I'm trying to take over the world because of Rin, which, by the way, that whole friend zone thing, people are taking it way too far. Some people are literally thinking that the reason he started this war was because Rin chose Kakashi over him. Nothing to do with that. It has nothing to him being sour that he was rejected by a girl. One of the reasons, I'm sure, one of the many reasons he has was because Kakashi let Rin die, but he didn't return to the village because Kakashi let Rin die. It wasn't that he started this entire war and everything. That's one of the reasons, but for the most part, the real thing they were talking about in that conversation was, that's why I never returned to the village even after I survived, because you let Rin die, because Rin was dead. There was no point for me to return. And I just wanted to be the voice for that because I kind of stumbled upon it, and then a lot of people were discussing it in the comments, and it's true. He didn't just start this entire war because of a girl. I'm sure that's one of the reasons, but there's many more. And also, you got to look at it, if everything is pointing towards that big theory that I made a few months back, about 5 months back, where Madara found Obito, which is starting to really point that way, then that means that a young boy just, you know, experienced a very tragic situation. You know, he's traumatized by that. He could get brainwashed by this guy. This is Uchiha Madara, the legendary Uchiha. Somebody that any Uchiha boy would look up to and be like, whoa, you know, that's God mode right there. So he would be easily brainwashed by him. Obito's head could have been cracked and he could have lost some of his memories. There are so many possibilities of what could have happened. And all we got so far was one of his reasons was, because you let Rin die, I didn't return to the village. So for the people that are saying Tobi's identity is ruined, we still have more to go. Now, I'm not giving the excuse of, oh, you know, just wait and see, it'll pan out. For me personally, I think it just is plain obvious. He wants to rid the world from having Shinobi disappoint, you know, because Kakashi did say he would protect Rin, and he didn't protect Rin. He doesn't want people to have to go through that anymore. He doesn't want people to have to experience pain anymore. He wants to all around just bring peace to the world because of what he suffered, and I'm sure there's more to it. And as far as Madara and his connection goes, I definitely got a feeling that Madara does not give a shit about Eternal Tsukuyomi. I got a feeling that that is all bull. He's just like feeding Obito whatever he wants to hear. And there's going to be conflict from down the road with that if Madara reveals it to Obito, like, you know, thanks for serving your purpose, but I don't need you anymore, because Obito's going to go crazy. He seems disturbed when he's talking about, oh, this reality doesn't mean anything anymore, and he has like this disturbed smirk on his face. It's just really crazy. And as far as like Tobi's identity goes, I'm satisfied with it. A lot of people are as well, and there was more to come. It's obvious, it's clear as day, there's more to come. Everything hasn't been explained yet, so, you know, just stay tuned for that. I don't understand why people want everything explained immediately. It's like, don't you want a little more mystery to keep you going, keep you reading, keep you interested? Why do you want it immediately? Like, one of the things with One Piece is that, what I like about like a lot of the fans of One Piece, and I'm not downing Naruto fans, is that One Piece fans are very patient. They know the story's going to progress eventually, and you're going to get what you've been looking for. I think you should put the same mindset to Naruto, because that's what Kishimoto's been doing lately, is like, just chill, you'll get it eventually. You know, he's working his way to that. He wants to keep the suspense going a little bit. He don't want to just give everything away. Then you already got the story, and it's like you can move on about your business, you know. So I think you just need to relax and wait. As far as Obito's character being destroyed goes, it soured me to the good aspects of him, but for the most part, you know, it's a new, different character. It's a change to him now. He's a different person. He grew up. Itachi, he seemed evil at one point, but for the most part, he was doing good the whole time. You know, it's just a change in characters. Let me know what you think. Were you soured to Tobi's identity being revealed as Obito, and do you think that this changes the character Obito in your eyes? Do you feel like he's been tainted by all this evilness inside of him? Comment section below, video response, and your overall thoughts on you know, just this whole Tobi madness that's been going on, that he seemingly is Obito and he's working with Madara. Because me, you know, you can say I'm a fanboy and that's fine and whatnot, but I see the flaws, but I'm not going to stress over it, because at the end of the day, it's entertainment, and I love, you know, the series. I rewatch it constantly, I reread it constantly, and it's enjoyable. We will get the answers in time. That's all I have on ForneverWorld. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up for some craziness has to come with Obito and Madara battles on ForneverWorld. And as always, people, have an awesome day.